Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki. O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 18th Adhyaya, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, and Sri Krishna having told us about that, the profoundest of the profound knowledge, the Sarva Guhyatamam Jnanam, and also his most supreme words, Paramam Vācyaṃ. He has disclosed to us that how we should devote ourselves, how we should devote ourselves to the Lord and forget about everything. Forget about all the worries, forget about all the pangs, forget about all the ills that have accrued to our account. Sri Krishna said that I'm going to wipe it out. Just don't worry about it. Forget everything and just take refuge in me. Devote to me. He had told us that great teaching. He taught us that manmana bhava mat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. You take me granted for everything that you need. Just surrender to me, devote yourself to me, worship me, take my name, and I will just take care of you. Don't worry on that count. And then he also further told that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. You abandon all the tasks, all the dharmic and adharmic, Sarva Dharman, all types of, the duties that come to you. You just abandon them. Now, Sri Krishna doesn't mean abandon them means you just run away. No. Sri Krishna says abandon your ownership towards performing that task. Give up the attitude that I am doing it. Take up the attitude, I am the Lord's instrument and I have to do it. Be my instrument. Do your duties, and that way, Parityajya Sarva Dharman. Just forget about whatever you are doing. Don't get the ownership of the thing that you are doing. I am the owner. Don't worry on that count. I am the owner of that task. Be my instrument, be my medium, be my channel, and just give up your ownership, your agencyship of doing that work. And then what to do? Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Just surrender yourself to me. Don't think of anything else. Surrender yourself to me alone, Sri Krishna says. You don't have to go to hundreds and thousands of gurus for that matter. Just come to me and take refuge in me. Now what will happen having done that? What will happen to us having taken shelter in the Lord, like Lord has said? Sri Krishna says that Aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha yishyami ma shuchaha. You don't worry. You don't cry. You don't grieve. Ma shuchaha. I will wipe out all those ills, all those evils, all those sins that are attached, that have got attached with the works that you have done. Sri Krishna has told us that every work we do, there is an element, even if it is a good work we are doing, some kind of bad is always attached to that work. Because in this sphere, in this sphere of the creation, everything is in pairs of opposites. There is nothing in this creation which is 100% good and 0% bad. It is always a mix of good and bad. Maybe 99.99% good, but that 0.01% bad will always be accrued, attached to that good. Every good has bad. Every pure has impure. Every holiness has got some kind of unholiness. So in this, the field of creation, in this kshetra, there is always, things are in the pairs of opposites. So even if we have done nothing but good, some kind of bad will always get accrued to our account. And Sri Krishna says, you don't worry on that account. You don't grieve that you have collected so many negative points, you have collected so many sins, you have collected so many ills or evils in your account book. I will wipe it out. Sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. All types of negatives that have come to your account. It is not that I will only remove the smaller evils, only that the smaller sins I will remove. Sarva papebhyo. I will just wipe out your slate clean of all the ills and evils and the wretched, the fruits that I have got attached to your account, that have got credited to your account. I will just wipe it out. Aham tvap sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami cāśuśrūṣave. So now Sri Krishna has assured us. Sri Krishna has given us a great relief that having taken shelter at his holy feet, having abandoned the I-ness from the things that I am doing, I am doing it. Sarva, the dharman parityajya, by renouncing all the deeds for that matter, all the tasks, good and bad, sarva dharman, righteous and unrighteous. I am not doing anything. I have renounced everything at the holy feet. I am just now an instrument. With that attitude, when one takes shelter at the holy feet of the Lord, Lord wipes out the slate of that karmic account book. All ills and evils and sins, they are wiped out clean. The account is zero. There is no sin attached, accrued, credited, that is balanced in the account. It is all gone. So we are free from that cycle of birth and death, since there is the account book is absolutely clean. We don't have to come back to, the wipe out anything bad for that matter, to wipe out any wrongs that we have done in the previous lives. Everything is clear. Now, having reached that stage, what should we do? Now, Sri Krishna, having got that jnana, having got that guhyatamam jnanam, sarva guhyatamam jnanam, the profoundest of the profound knowledge having got, what do we do with that knowledge? Do we just sit idle? We have to share it with, no. Now, Sri Krishna is telling with whom not to share and with whom to share. Now, the first cautionary note Sri Krishna says, don't share it with such and such types of people. Now, which are those types of people with whom we are not supposed to share that knowledge? That Sri Krishna is teaching us in this 67th shloka. Idaṃ te nātapaskāya nābhaktāya kadācana cāśuśrūṣave vācyaṃ naca mam yophyasūyati. Sri Krishna says, never ever share this knowledge. Idaṃ te na nātapaskāya. Nātapaskāya is one who does not perform any austerities, who is not a tapasvi, who is not a sadhaka. There is no point sharing this greatest of the great knowledge, the profoundest of the profundities. There is no point sharing with those who are not performing any austerities. Now, what is that austerity Sri Krishna is referring to? Is it that Sri Krishna is not saying that you stand on one leg and, keep on performing that austerity, standing on one leg for years together? Not that. Or get into Shirsasana get into Shirshasana or any other yogic posture and perform that austerity for days, months and years together. Not that kind of austerity. Sri Krishna says, everything done without the feeling of my doing it is an austerity. You do japa, you do jhana, you perform good deeds. Doesn't matter even if some bad is attached to it. You do righteous deeds. That itself is an austerity. Sri Ramakrishna says in this Kali Yuga, sticking to truthfulness itself is the greatest austerity. Naturally, how many of us can abide by this teaching of Sri Ramakrishna? Don't deviate from the path of truth, Sri Ramakrishna says. Come what may. We compromise at times. At times we bow down to that falsity. At times we utter a small lie. We are not 100% truthful all the time. Sri Ramakrishna says that is the biggest austerity in this Kali Yuga. So Sri Krishna says, those who are not performing any austerities at all, not nātapaskāya, those who are not performing any tapasya, any sadhana, there is no point of sharing this knowledge with them. So that is one category of people with whom we are not to share this knowledge that we have got from Sri Krishna. Another category, nābhaktāya, kadācana, ever. Never ever share this with those who are not devoted, those who have no devotion in their hearts, who are not at all inclined towards that path of devotion. There is no point, because they won't understand what you are telling them. They are not capable, they are not fit to get that knowledge. There is no use sharing that knowledge with them. So this is first thing Sri Krishna has told us. And then, na cāśuśrūṣave vācyaṃ. Na cāśuśrūṣave vācyaṃ. Cāśuśrūṣave. Those who don't render service, or those who don't desire to listen. There is what is point in talking to them, sharing with them this knowledge? Shushusha, there are two meanings in this. Na ashushruṣave is those who are not inclined to perform any service to others, or any service for that matter, or those who are not willing to listen. Shrunvanti. Those who are not willing to listen. There is no point of telling them all these things, because you are telling them is not going to enter those sound waves. They may enter, but they are of no use. They won't be retained inside. All that knowledge that you keep on, it will be just a foolish exercise on your part. They won't grasp anything. They won't understand anything. There won't be any significance of your words that you are telling. Those profound words that you are telling them, there won't be any use for them. Nachamam yaha abhisuyati. Abhisuyati is those who are jealous, those who are cavils, those who don't have any kind of respect. No need to share it with those people. Those people who have no respect for others. In fact, they are always jealous of others. If something good happens, that's it. This fellow starts burning. Why good is happening to that fellow? So there is no point sharing with those type of people also. So Sri Krishna in this shloka has narrated 4 categories of people for whom this sarva guhyatamam jnanam is of no use. This is like pouring water. Now there are 2 types of things where there is no point of pouring water from the point of view of collecting water. Stone. If we are putting water on stone, it won't enter the stone at all. We won't be able to collect even a single drop. Or if the pot is cracked, there is no point in putting water in that pot, because eventually the whole water will seep out. For that, the pot has to be intact. No holes, no cracks. But of course, I mean, if it is Sri Radhika is carrying water in that pot full of holes, that is a different matter. But then Radhika doesn't fit into any of these categories. Radhika is way above. That is a totally different league. So the pot which has holes, the cracks, there is no point putting water in that. The whole water will go out. But if water has to be retained, if the knowledge has to be retained, if that knowledge has to be made use by that person has to be tapasvi. He should be performing austerities. He should be performing good deeds. That person should be should have devotion in his or her heart. Should be a devotee. Otherwise, it is again no use. That person should be willing to listen. That person also should have the tendency of serving others. Then that knowledge will be useful to this person. He can put good use of that knowledge that you are sharing with him. And also the fourth category, a person who is not at all jealous, who doesn't have hatred in mind, who doesn't have any kind of a negative attitude towards others. To that person you can tell. But a person who is jealous, a person whose mind is filled with hatred for others, there is no point, because that person is not going to do good for any other person. So Sri Krishna makes us give us this cautionary note that never share this knowledge which you have taken, which you have learned from me. Never share it with these four types of people. Never to be spoken by you, this knowledge, to one who is devoid of austerities, nor to one who is not devoted, nor to one who does not do any service, or nor to one who is not willing to listen, and nor to one who speaks ill of me, who has a feeling of jealousy towards me, who has a feeling of hatred towards me. How can he retain my words then? He won't have. A person who doesn't like me, a person who doesn't love me, a person who is not devoted to me, what is the use of telling good things? What all the advice that I have taught you, what all the teachings that I have taught you, what is the use of teaching those things to such a person? Don't do it at all, Sri Krishna says. The Bhagavad Gita is a symposium of all the principles governing ethical and spiritual life of man. This is what Sri Krishna has told us all along. The ethical and the spiritual life of a human being. And Sri Krishna is enabling us to get onto this path towards liberation by all those teachings. Now, those teachings, if they are not useful for some categories of people, there is absolutely no use of sharing it with these kind of four categories of people that Sri Krishna has narrated. The life of man would rise in stature to the extent these principles are imbibed and put into practice. Now, if that person is not going to put into practice the principles and the teachings of the Lord, why should we waste our time, money and energy? Maybe not money, but time and energy. It is going to be of no use. So, Sri Krishna tells us this, gives us this caution. These four types of people, you just don't share it. Don't even bother for them, because their lot is nothing but to suffer, suffer and suffer in this cycle of birth and death. Now, Sri Ramakrishna's teaching on this again. Rainwater does not accumulate on an elevated place. You see, in the mountain, on the mountain top, when it rains, the water doesn't get stay there. It flows away to low regions. Even so, the grace of the Lord does not descend in the hearts of the haughty, those who are high-headed, those who are arrogant, those who are filled with jealousy, those who are filled with hatred. The Lord's grace, it doesn't descend upon them. It is like water coming down from that mountain top. It doesn't stay, the grace doesn't stay there. So there is no point. These people are shown the path to receive the Lord's grace. Even so, The grace of the Lord does not descend in the hearts of the haughty and the vainglorious. It dawns in the hearts of low and the meek. Only those devotees, only those simple children of the Lord who have given up the me and mine, who have no arrogance, who have no high-headedness, who have no jealousy, no hatred in their hearts and minds. Only those humble, only those devotees filled with humility, Lord showers grace on them, and that grace is retained. To a person who is not capable of receiving the God's grace, even if God showers the grace, it doesn't stay there, because that person is not capable at all. So Sri Krishna says, better be away from those people. There is no point sharing. So keep that knowledge to yourself rather than sharing it with these people who are not performing any austerities, these people who are not devoted, these people who are not willing to listen, these people who have never rendered service to anyone, and to those people who are jealous about me, who have hatred for me, those who don't love me. So that was Sri Krishna's teaching, a wise teaching for that matter, when not to share the knowledge that we have received. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.